Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to create a card using the Spellbinders Large Die of the Month Club Kit for December. It creates this fun window scene and it's called Look Behind the Curtain. It's an interactive die set and it is so easy to put together and it was so fun. First thing I thought of for my project today was a little boy card. So I wanted to create some little boy curtains. And so we're going to create our own curtain background. I'm using some stamps from a Fun Stamper's Journey stamp set called Space Cadet. It is so fun. There's astronauts and planets and aliens. There's rocket ships. I grabbed the astronaut, one of the rocket ships, and one of the asteroids in the stamp set. We're going to stamp all over, starting off with our astronaut. I didn't want to use black ink, so I'm using my Rock Candy ink, which is a very dark gray. But I'm stamping on Cranberry Bliss cardstock, and this is a card front panel, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. I'm stamping my astronaut all over, kind of twisting and turning as I stamp. And then once I'm done stamping my astronaut, we're going to stamp. What I'm amazed at is red rubber stamps always have so much detail. There's so much detail in that little astronaut. Up close, you're like, whoa. Well, you've seen the close-up pictures. But I'm going to stamp the rocket ship, filling in those open areas. And then when I'm done with the rocket ship, I'm going to go ahead and stamp that small circle asteroid all over my background. Just filling it in. So we have a rocket ship background, perfect for any little guy. I think it's going to be so fun. Now my hope was I should have measured first, otherwise I should have created 2 panels. But in our die set this month there is a curtain and then there's a valance. You want to die cut out the curtain twice, and I'm hoping I can get both curtains and the valance on this panel. So we'll add our curtain, and there's embossed detail on the curtain and the valance also. Super fun. I'm going to run these through my die cut machine, and I got lucky because they all 3 fit. But now I have some fun patterned cardstock for my window. Now we're going to create the mechanism, the slider portion for our Look Behind the Curtain die set. This piece, you want to kind of lower it about 1/2 inch off of your panel, leaving a little bit of room because you want to add that valance to the very top. So I lowered it about 1/2 inch and I die cut it out. And then once we have this die cut out, I'm going to go ahead and die cut out the curtain rod piece. You want to die cut out 2 of those. And then this die is from the Small Die of the Month Club Kit. I wanted a window behind my curtain, so I die cut out that with white cardstock. Now this is part of your slider mechanism. The reason you want 2 is because there's 2 curtain rods. You're going to start off by reinforcing those score lines on your little flag piece. What I like to do is just slide my hand underneath, and then I can just kind of roll this piece right underneath, so we have a flat on flat backing. Now for this piece, you want to do the opposite. You want to flip over this piece to do the opposite side, so we have an opposite curtain rod basically. So you just reinforce those score lines, and it's so easy to do. Now what you're going to do is wrap around your pieces over that middle bar. You want to make sure when you wrap them around that it's on the looser side. You don't want to wrap around so tight that it doesn't open and close. Okay, it doesn't matter if your flap is on the top or bottom, I found, as long as it's just closed. You can use glue or tape. Score tape would probably work really good. I'm using my Journey glue only because I had it on my desk, and also it dries pretty quickly. Okay, so they're secure closed. You want to kind of wiggle your slider to make sure that they open and close. Now at first you're going to think, okay, this little end piece is so thin, you want something a little bit stronger to make this mechanism open and close. But no worries, you're going to end up having this 3 layers thick. So die cutting out just one of these is perfectly fine. You just kind of want to wiggle it, make sure it opens and closes, and then this is what it basically looks like. Next, you're going to take some glue. You're going to add your curtain rods right over the top. Mine are going to overhang just a little bit. You want to line this curtain right up. Basically, what I'm doing is a little bit over my fold over area that we glued. The end of my curtain rod's overhanging a bit, but that's because my panel size is not a card front size. I actually trimmed 1/4 inch off of this panel. So this panel measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's going to leave me a little bit of a border on my card base. Now if you did a card front size, which is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, those curtain rods would not overhang on the end. Okay, those are secured. This is basically what it looks like. These still flap up a little bit and they open and close just fine. The back side is clean and simple. I'll show it to you in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and take some foam adhesive. Now I'm using foam adhesive because my window, I'm going to add some dimension on the inside of my curtains. So I wanted my curtains to be popped up. You don't have to do this if you have a flat background behind your window or behind your curtains. I'm adding foam adhesive. There's the back you can see. But the foam adhesive is going to be nice because I'm going to add my curtains right over that top area. And this even adds more stability to those curtain rods too. So you end up having 3 layers thick. I'm going to take my spaceman curtains. I'm going to add it. I ended up closing up my curtain rod because this way I could line it up. I was afraid that one curtain would be higher than the other. So having them closed when you add your curtains helps out a lot. So this is what it looks like so far. Pretty flat still. And they open and close beautifully. I'm just going to line them up. And then now we're going to add our valance. I'm going to flip this over. We're going to add a double layer of foam adhesive behind here. I want it 1 level higher. And then we're going to add this to the very top of our panel. And I think it looks so fun. Making sure it's centered on my panel here. Okay, and it does, and we want to make sure it still opens and closes. I just think that's so neat. But that's all you have to do, guys. Super fun. Okay, next, after we have this done, we're going to go ahead and take our window. I did trim down a piece of black cardstock to adhere my window to. Now you don't have to use black cardstock. My background's going to be pretty busy, so I didn't bother creating a galaxy background. I wanted to keep it black, but I just adhered my window pane to my black cardstock. And originally I was going to have it going vertical, my window, but you don't want to obstruct your mechanism there. So you want to go just below that cut line for your mechanism to open and close properly. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue, flip over my window pane so it's horizontal, and this is actually what it kind of looks like on the back side of your packaging. They created a window with a small die of the month club too. Now we're going to stamp some sentiments. I'm still using the Space Cadet stamp set. I'm using my Cranberry Bliss ink to stamp Have a Blast. And then I wanted 2 sentiments for my card, one for the outside and then one for the inside. So in the stamp set there's also one that says all systems are go. Congrats. I'm not going to use the congrats. I just wanted to trim down all systems and then go. Argo. And then we're going to ditch the congrats. I kind of wanted to make it a birthday card. So I trimmed those down with my paper trimmer. And then before we decorate the inside of our window, I did want to create something for the outside. So I'm taking some yellow cardstock, and in the stamp set there is a planet. I'm stamping it with my VersaFine ink. We're going to go over it with some silver embossing powder just to add a little bit of shine to our front of our card, since it's basically pretty matte. After I heat embossed it with silver embossing powder, I'm just taking a couple yellow copic markers. I have my YR23 and the YR27, and I'm doing a couple of shadings on my planet here. And after we have this done, I'm going to die cut out my planet with a circle die, a blue slightly larger circle, and then a silver slightly larger circle than the blue circle. So we're going to basically layer all three of our circles together. I use silver cardstock for our very bottom one, but I'm using my tape runner and adhering them all together. And I think it looks very playful. After we have this done, I'm going to trim this right down the center because we're going to adhere this to the left and right of our curtains. And this way we can see the entire inside of our window. Nothing is obstructing it. We just trim this right down the middle. I used the grid lines on my mat to make sure it was centered. If I didn't do that, I would have probably had a way lopsided planet here. Okay, I'm going to flip over half of one, add some glue behind this one. We'll do the same to our right side. And then I'm going to add one of my half planets to this curtain to secure it. And then I think we better close our curtains before we add our second planet. This way they line up beautifully. When it's closed, I want it to look not cut in half. Just making sure. You want to make sure that your curtain rods are even too. I'm going to add my second half of my planet, and I just think that's what I needed for the front of the card. Now we're going to go ahead and flip this panel over. I'm going to add some fun foam behind it. I wanted to pop it up. When you do this, you want to make sure that you don't obstruct the mechanism. So I did leave a gap so it could slide open and close still. I'm going to adhere this panel, my curtain panel, on a standard A2 size card base. I'm using the same Cranberry Bliss cardstock here for that. And you can see I have a little bit of a red border around it, and I like that. Okay, we're going to add foam adhesive behind each one of our sentiments. And then to the left of our curtain, we're going to add all systems. Such a cute sentiment too. And then to the right, we're going to put our go. So we have all systems are go. I wonder if Houston, we have liftoff is trademarked. I'm not sure, but that would be a cute sentiment too. Okay. After we have this done, I'm looking at it and I don't like the white curtain rod, so I'm just going to use my gray copic marker, my C4, and color in the ends of my curtain rod. The ends are just barely hanging out, so it was very easy to do. We'll just color those in. And I'm happier with the gray there. Okay, now you can see my sticker pack here. This is from Fun Stamper's Journey. It's called Space Glow. This is a pretty neat pack, guys. There are there's planets, there are asteroids, there's rocket ships, and I'm going to actually fill in my background with 2 of the rocket ships, and then some of the circles that look like asteroids. And then I'm going to bring in some silver stickles to create a very galaxy background, just adding some swirls. And I think that looks so fun. There's a lot of dimension in there, so that's why we popped up those curtains. But I just love the way this turned out. I think it'd be a perfect little boy. I'm going to try and close it without getting stickles on the back of my curtains. But that is my project today, guys, using the large die of the month club kit from Spellbinders. It's called Look Behind the Curtain. Such a fun, interactive project. So I hope this gives you an idea on how to use it. I had so much fun and thought it would be a perfect little boy card. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you again real soon, guys. Bye-bye.